The African savanna, vast and imposing, holds ancient secrets. Its plains are a natural battlefield, where survival is a cruel art and power is the prize for the strongest. In the Mara Triangle, an area disputed between Kenya and Tanzania, one name echoes across these lands: the Inselberg Coalition. They are more than lions. They are living legends, warriors who have shaped the landscape with their strength, courage, and determination. The Mara Triangle is not a place for the weak. With each sunrise, a new battle is drawn on the horizon. Here, every step is a risk, and every roar is a reminder of the constant struggle for supremacy. In this setting, the Inselbergs emerged as a dominant force, a group of male lions that, over the years, carved their names into the history of this territory. Comprised of 5 impressive lions: Miniwheel, Nusu, Ruka, Olapolicy, and Slit Lip, this coalition challenged the boundaries of survival and power. But what makes the Inselbergs so different from other coalitions? What allowed them to dominate such vast and feared territories? The answer lies not only in physical strength but in intelligence and strategy. From the very beginning, these males showed that leadership requires more than brutality. They knew how to observe, plan, and act at the right moment. Born between 2012 and 2014, these lions were originally nomads, known as the Njiro men by the local conservation program. Without a fixed territory, they roamed the savanna, watching every move of other lions, waiting for the right moment to claim what they believed was rightfully theirs. It was only a matter of time before their silent strategy bore fruit. On a quiet night, when the full moon illuminated the Mara Triangle, the Inselbergs made their first major move. They launched a surprise attack, taking control of the Nasipa Pride. The confrontation was fierce but swift. Roars echoed through the night, marking the beginning of a new era. That night would be remembered as the moment when the Inselbergs transitioned from nomads to rulers. Power never comes without challenges. And for the Inselbergs, maintaining control over their territories would not be easy. Their enemies were always lurking, waiting for a moment of vulnerability. But until then, no one imagined the extent of these lions' ambition. With the Nasipa Pride under their control, the coalition advanced further, conquering the Egyptian Goose Pride. Now, with 2 prides under their dominion and a vast expanse of land at their disposal, the Inselbergs were at the height of their strength. But in the savannah, the top is a lonely and dangerous place. They knew that this position of power would attract the attention of other males, young and hungry for territory. Little did they know that, beyond the borders they had just consolidated, another coalition was watching. Stronger, bolder, and willing to do whatever it took to take what the Inselbergs had claimed. Hey everyone! If you're just like me and also passionate about wildlife and haven't subscribed yet, support our work by subscribing to our channel and leave suggestions for videos you'd like to see. With the Nasipa and Egyptian Goose prides under their control, the Inselbergs established themselves as an unstoppable force in the Mara Triangle. But for lions, power is never permanent. It must be defended every day, with sharp claws and strategic decisions. After the initial victory, the Inselbergs expanded their territories, not only in size but in influence. Their roars echoed along the border between Kenya and Tanzania, signaling that the coalition had become a dominant and unquestionable presence in the region. They began to engage with the females of these prides, producing offspring who would inherit their legacy, their blood, and perhaps their future battles. Each new day was a struggle for survival, not just against rivals but against the savannah itself. The fight for food intensified, and keeping their females and cubs safe became a daily mission. But the Inselbergs were not just warriors. They were strategists. Often, the group would split to maximize their chances of success during hunts. 2 males protected the females and cubs, while the others hunted in distant territories. This strategy kept them well-fed and with enough energy to face their enemies. The coalition proved, time and time again, that strength combined with intelligence was the key to their rise. One day, as a storm approached the horizon, the coalition noticed their territory being invaded by a young coalition of rival males. The Inselbergs knew that an immediate response would be risky, but hesitation could be fatal. So, under the rain that had just begun to fall, they attacked. The confrontation was brutal. Roars mixed with the sound of thunder, and the battle seemed endless. But in the end, the Inselbergs prevailed, driving off the rivals with severe injuries, once again proving why they were the true kings of that territory. But power comes at a price. And for the Inselbergs, the growing tension in the Mara Triangle was a constant reminder that other males would always be lurking, ready to challenge their position of dominance. Life in the savannah was an endless cycle of struggle and survival. Over time, the Inselbergs became masters not only of conquering but of maintaining their territories. They were known for their aggressiveness and speed in dealing with any threat. Their patrols were frequent, and any intruder was quickly eliminated. However, as their fame grew, so did the number of rivals willing to challenge them. But the Inselbergs were about to face the greatest test of their strength. A new coalition, younger and hungrier, was watching closely. And this time, the confrontation wouldn't just be about territory. It would be a matter of life and death. As the Inselbergs consolidated their dominance in the Mara Triangle, another coalition of lions was growing in power and ambition. The Niati, also known as the Taliban or Sausage Tree Boys, were a silent threat, watching every move the Inselbergs made, waiting for the right moment to strike. The Niati were unlike any other group the Inselbergs had ever faced. Young, bold, and growing in number, they posed a real threat to the Inselbergs' dominance. For months, the two coalitions avoided each other, their patrols rarely crossing paths. But the territory was becoming too small to be shared. And when the confrontation finally happened, it was inevitable. In early 2022, the Inselbergs ventured east, expanding their domains. It was during this movement that they left the Egyptian goose pride, one of their most important conquests, vulnerable. The Niati, always vigilant, saw this opportunity and attacked, taking the territory and the pride for themselves. By the time the Inselbergs realized what had happened, the damage was already done. The territory had been lost, and a direct confrontation could no longer be avoided. The Niati were not just more numerous, but also younger. Their growing strength and boldness made them formidable adversaries. But the Inselbergs did not back down from a challenge. What followed was one of the fiercest battles the Mara Triangle had ever witnessed. On that fateful afternoon, the Inselbergs advanced to reclaim what was theirs. The confrontation took place in an area near Sundowner Hills, and the roars of the lions echoed across the plains. The two coalitions faced each other with a fury rarely seen. Every swipe of the paw, every bite, carried a lethal intent. The battle reached its peak when Slit Lip, one of the most impressive members of the Inselbergs, was surrounded by two Niati males. Despite his bravery, the deep wounds began to take their toll. In a final effort to protect his coalition brothers, he charged at the rivals, giving the others time to retreat. But the cost was high. Slit Lip, the lion of many battles, succumbed to his injuries, falling on the land he had fought so hard to protect. Slit Lip's death was a devastating blow to the Inselbergs. They had lost one of their best warriors, and now they had to regroup quickly to avoid losing even more. Slit Lip's body was found days later, marking the end of a chapter in the Inselbergs' history. But this would not be the last time the Niati and Inselbergs crossed paths. The Mara Triangle was now divided, with the Niati controlling the Egyptian goose pride and part of the territories previously dominated by the Inselbergs. However, Miniwheel, Ruka, Nusu, and Olapolicy were not ready to give up. The Inselbergs had lost more than territory. They had lost a brother. But in the savannah, loss fuels new motivation. The coalition, now 4 males strong, would regroup. But the question remained: what would it take to hold on to what was left? And who would be the next to fall? With Slit Lip's death, the Inselbergs found themselves in uncertain territory. For the first time, their strength had been shaken. But in the savannah, giving up is never an option. Now with only 4 members, Miniwheel, Ruka, Nusu, and Olapolicy needed to rise again and, above all, protect what was left of their empire. Slit Lip's death left a scar not only on the coalition but on the entire Mara Triangle. The Inselbergs knew that rivals were watching, ready to strike at the first sign of weakness. However, the 4 remaining males were no ordinary lions. They had survived intense battles, and the loss of a companion only strengthened their determination to preserve their legacy. A few days after Slitlip's death, the Inselbergs faced an unexpected challenge. A group of hyenas, drawn by the smell of carcasses left behind after the battle with the Niati, invaded their territory. Hyenas, known for their boldness and aggressiveness, tried to take advantage of the situation, advancing on the remains of a hunt the lions had abandoned. The Inselbergs, though wounded and outnumbered, did not hesitate. With renewed fury, they drove the hyenas from the territory, proving that despite their losses, they were still a coalition to be feared. That victory, small as it was, served as a reminder to themselves and to their rivals that they were not ready to be overthrown. But the savannah offers no time for mourning. Time was running against the Inselbergs, and as they tried to reorganize, other coalitions began to move. The control of their territories was now under constant threat, and the pressure to protect their offspring intensified. The Inselbergs moved to a new area, stretching from Serena Sundowner Hill to Majimachafu. Though this region offered temporary shelter and safety, it was far from stable. Rival coalitions began testing their defenses, probing the edges of the territory. For the Inselbergs, each day became a new battle for survival. And while external threats grew, a new danger emerged, not from outside, but from within. Age was beginning to weigh on the Inselbergs. Their once unquestionable dominance now relied not only on strength but on intelligence. But could they stay one step ahead of their young, ruthless rivals? The savannah never forgets its kings, and for years, the Inselbergs ruled the Mara Triangle with sharp claws and unyielding determination. But just like the natural cycle of life, every reign comes to an end, and theirs was approaching this reality. The Inselbergs, now down to only 4 members, managed to stay standing despite all the adversity they faced. They lost territory, fought against younger coalitions, and had to deal with the consequences of their own battles. Yet they continued to fight, adapting to the changes and developing new strategies to ensure their survival and that of their descendants. Nature, however, is merciless. With each passing year, the Inselbergs grew older, slower, and in the savannah, youth is an advantage no lion can ignore. As the Inselbergs' offspring grew and began to roam the territory, the weight of leadership fell entirely on the remaining 4 males. Their control over the Egyptian goose pride had already been lost to the Niati, and now, their remaining females and the cubs they had sired became their top priority. However, new coalitions continued to form, ready to challenge their leadership. At the end of 2023, a new group of lions, previously unknown, was spotted near the Inselbergs' territories. Unlike the Niati, these males were more organized and appeared to be studying the Inselbergs from a distance. The first encounter between the two coalitions was brief, but filled with tension. The Inselbergs knew that a new challenge was on the horizon, and this time, it wouldn't just be a battle of strength, it would be a test of strategy and endurance. With their bodies marked by scars from past battles, the Inselbergs prepared for what could be their last great fight. Their roars still echoed across the savannah, reminding everyone that, despite their age, they were still the kings of these lands. Despite the hardships, the Inselbergs still had something that many young lions did not: experience. They knew that in the end, strategy could be more important than brute force. But how long could experience make up for the lack of youth? The future of the Inselbergs is uncertain. As the next generation of lions begins to emerge, new challenges arise. Will they be able to protect what remains of their legacy? Or will the winds of the savannah carry them to the same fate as so many other kings before them? One thing is certain: as long as there is a fight, there will be hope. If you enjoy these fascinating documentaries about wildlife, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Until next time.